Well, good afternoon, elective English students. You see, I have decided that I will complete the remaining part of the questions in this video so that you may not forget and the continuity remains. आप ये वीडियो भी सुन लीजिएगा और वो इंट्रोडक्शन वाला भी सुन लीजिएगा, आपको सारा कुछ क्लियर हो जाएगा। अगर फिर भी कोई कंफ्यूजन रहता है तो व्हाट्सएप पे पूछ लें या फिर जब हमारी क्लास होती है, whenever we meet we can discuss this. So the first point in try this out, that the poet has juxtaposed the sets of opposites like numbness, pains and waking dreams. How does this contribute to the poetic effect, and what is this figure of speech called? This figure of speech is called paradox, as I told you. In this the poet combines two opposites, and at a closer examination we discover a deeper meaning, although on the face of it they appear rather disconnected and absurd. Now, he has used pairs of opposites, and this contributes significantly to the poem. You see, by using fewer words, he is able to create a multiplicity of meaning, a lot of meaning. This is one of the poetic quality. Then he creates meanings. Now, it adds to the verbal felicity of the poem, the verbal beauty of the poem, adds to the music and the rhythm of the poem. Now, as far as meanings are concerned, you see, the pairs of opposite suggest that pain and pleasure coexist. Even in a state of ecstasy, he feels pain, although this pain is the pain of joy. But still, these pairs suggest that, like waking dream or numbness pains, they suggest that pain and pleasure coexist. It is difficult to understand the nature of happiness. Moreover, it communicates his ecstasy. He is already in a state of ecstasy, and to communicate that extreme joy, he has used these pairs of opposites. Now, the second one, you see, the poet has evoked the image of wine. Now, why has this image been chosen? This image has been chosen because firstly, because the poet wants to communicate his ecstasy. He has already experienced the beauty, and he has had an overpowering experience of beauty. He has had a feel of permanence and transience, and so he is in a state of ecstasy and overjoyed. He is in a trance, and he has forgotten his earthly existence. So, this condition is very much like the condition of a man who is heavily drunk. He too forgets his existence. So, to communicate this, he has evoked the image of wine. Moreover, later he says that he will fly with the bird charioted by Bacchus. Chariot means Rath, Chariot, and Bacchus, Bacchus, Bacchus. Bacchus is the Greek god of wine, meaning that he will fly with the bird with the help of wine. He will drink wine and forget himself. But later he changes his mind and says that he will fly with the bird on the wings of poesy, meaning that poesy means poetry. So he means that he'll fly with the bird with the power of his imagination. Anyway, ये पार्ट तो आपके कोर्स में नहीं है, तो ज़्यादा appropriate आंसर यही है कि he evokes the image of wine in order to communicate his ecstasy and extreme joy. We now come to number 3. The sense of sight, sound and taste are evoked in the poem. Locate instances of these. Well, yes, the sense of sight is the sense of sound is evoked. The sound relates to the sound of music, the sound of birds, song, and he says melodious plot that also appeals to our sound, sense of sound, that is sense of hearing. Then sense of sight. I'm giving you only a few examples. Later you can pick up from the poem. Dance, sunburnt mirth, purple stained mouth. All these are visual images. Then taste. Taste, you remember the wine tasting of flora and the country green. It will have the taste of flowers and the country greenery. So that is there, Then they ask us that the poet addresses the nightingale and talks to the bird throughout the poem. What is this kind of poem called? This kind of poem is called ode. You see, in an ode is like a form of poem, just like sonnet, ballad, lyric. So in an ode, usually the poet addresses somebody or it celebrates an occasion. There are various kinds of ode, for example, Horatian ode or Pindaric ode, but these romantics, they did not follow any rules. However, this ode has a uniform pattern. It has 10-line stanzas and the rhyme scheme is almost uniform. So, and the poet has used a pentameter, a meter, having 5 feet. 1 foot of a meter consists of 2 syllables. सिलेबल को पहचानने का तरीका मैंने वीडियो में भी बताया, मैं दोबारा से बता देता हूँ कि जब कोई वावल साउंड, एक वावल साउंड हो तो एक सिलेबल बनेगा. याद रखिए, वावल साउंड और वावल लेटर में फ़र्क है. जैसे हम कहते हैं हाउस, तो इसमें 3 वावल लेटर्स हैं मगर साउंड एक ही है. इसको डिफ्थोंग कहते हैं, हाउस बोलते हैं ना हम. तो ये साउंड ब्रेक नहीं होती, 2 वावल साउंड्स मिल रही हैं आपस में. एनीवे, बहुत से ऐसे लेटर्स हैं जिनमें जैसे RHOUR, और 2 वावल साउंड है, एक ही साउंड, 2 वावल लेटर्स हैं, एक ही साउंड है. तो अब तरीका ये है कि if your tongue does not touch your teeth or doesn't come near the palate, then it's a vowel sound. Otherwise, if the tongue touches the teeth or comes near the palate, then it's a consonant sound. आप बोल के देख लीजिएगा, अ, ई, उ, ए, कहीं पे भी ज़बान टच नहीं होगी आपकी टीथ से. ट, ब, क जब आप कहेंगे तो या तो पैलेट के करीब आ जाएगी या फिर टच होगी. तो 1 मीटर में कई फीट हो सकती हैं. पेंटामीटर में 5 फीट होती हैं और 1 फुट में 2 सिलेबल्स होते हैं. याद रखिएगा, ये आयम्बिक नहीं है. आयम्बिक पेंटामीटर में पहला सिलेबल जो होता है वो अनस्ट्रेस्ड होता है. तो इसका एक यूनिफॉर्म पैटर्न है, बट दिस डज नॉट फॉलो द एग्जैक्ट रूल्स ऑफ कंपोजिंग an ode, So this is an ode. I have given you information about an ode also in the introductory video. Please listen to that. Now we come to point number 5. Make a list of all the adjectives in the poem along with the nouns they describe. List the phrases that impressed you the most in the poem. तो ये तो नाउन्स और एडजेक्टिव्स की लिस्ट आप बना सकते हैं, तो बहुत लंबी लिस्ट होगी, वो तो पोएम को देख के बना सकते हैं. नाउ द फ्रेजेस दैट इम्प्रेस्ड यू द मोस्ट, ये एक सब्जेक्टिव क्वेश्चन है. आप कोई भी फ्रेज पिकअप कर सकते हैं, लेकिन उसको जस्टिफाई करना पड़ेगा कि वो क्यों आपको अच्छा लगा. फॉर एग्जाम्पल, नमनेस पेन्स, इट क्रिएट्स मल्टीपल मीनिंग. इट with the help of fewer words, the poet is able to create multiple meanings beautifully. and he also suggests it also suggests the state of ecstasy that he is in, and at the same time it suggests that um, you know that happiness is elusive, that pain and pleasure coexist, that it is difficult to understand the nature of happiness, in fact rather impossible to understand the nature of happiness. तो ये फ्रेज भी आप कह सकते हैं, पर्पल स्टेन माउथ इज अ ब्यूटिफुल वर्बल पिक्चर, वर्ड पिक्चर. इट इज द पिक्चर ऑफ अ पर्सन हु इज ड्रंक, जिसका फेस पर्पल स्टेन्ड हो जाता है. तो दैट इज ऑल्सो अ ब्यूटिफुल फ्रेज क्रिएटिंग अ लॉट ऑफ मीनिंग. तो अब आपकी ये चॉइस पे है. आई हैव गिवन यू 2 एग्जांपल्स. यू कैन ऑल्सो पिक अप, और वेकिंग ड्रीम है जैसे. तो and there are other so many beautiful phrases in the poem. You can choose and justify. Then they say find out other odes written by Keats and read them. This you can do if you get time. Then find out other odes written by Shelley. This is another romantic poet of the second generation, and you may read his odes also. And then for your suggested reading, you are asked to read complete version of an ode to Nightingale. If you get time, please do read it. And then Ode to West Wind, this is by Shelley. So this completes try this out, and this also completes our course. Now you study it, and if you have any problems, as I said, contact me on WhatsApp or on otherwise we'll discuss it in the class. Thank you very much.
Stop recording video.